Hello, Brand Day people. Hope you're enjoying the day, and it's time to meet somebody who is a radio star, a TV star, and a chart star, and he's the only person on the line that we can say that about. Pat Sharp.
I was going to say, when is he coming? Because until then, you'd have to put up with me. Hi, Mark.
Did you always want to do this job?
I always wanted to do radio. Anything else I've done, including the pop star stuff, which was for charity bait, was not really my thing. It just came about. Same with the telly, yeah. So radio was my thing and still is, yeah.
Yeah. What did you listen to, and who did you listen to growing up?
I listened to Capital when I grew up because I was in London, and that was the station to listen to. And I also went to America when I was about 18 and listened to some DJs like Jay Coffey on the station in Los Angeles, and I thought they were amazing. So they gave me quite a lot of influence.
So that was very important in developing your style or your attitude to how you did your job?
Oh, 100%, yeah. I figured I could come, on the air in England and say things like awesome and people would know what I meant. They just went...
You were 20 years ahead of your time. You became very famous as a VJ and as a TV host. You must look back on that as an important part of your career.
Yeah, I was on air, for Sky Channel, which was the pan-European cable channel that preceded Sky TV that everybody will know nowadays. And I was on with people like David Jensen, obviously, indeed Peter Powell and Gary Davis and all the guys you used to work with at Radio 1. And... we were on telly in 35 countries in something like 45 million homes. And, tomorrow I'm actually going to Norway to do a couple of gigs based on the audience who used to know me from there then, and they still know me now. And it's just bizarre. They're all 40, but they were 12 when they were watching me.
So what kind of records are you going to play at that gig?
It'll be...
Aha?
I normally do play some Aha, yeah, that keeps them happy. Also, lots of actual Norwegian stuff, stuff that they grew up with, but equally European stuff that everybody knows.
Is there sort of a golden era in your career? A period in time that you look back on with absolute affection?
100%, when I was allowed to be a real DJ and not so much of a presenter as I would say I am now, which was great fun, pressing loads of jingles and doing loads of stuff and having fun and shouting that I was bashing out the hits from the top of the tower and things like that, other nonsense. I was talking to people and yet also talking a bit at them, and I'm quite pleased that I've now grown into talking just to people as opposed to at their faces and saying, hey, 10 songs in a row. It doesn't mean a lot these days. That
was an incredibly successful time for you. Not only in those days did Capital pay well, but you were... There was an era when DJs were kind of like the footballers are now. You were very famous. You couldn't walk down the street. You've actually got that, as you said, that added dimension in Europe. But do you regret that passing, or are you quite glad of a quieter existence?
To be honest with you, Mark, I quite enjoy the anonymity now, and people don't have to say get your hair cut because I did 20 years ago. And you'd always get people who'd be a bit insulting. I can remember that in the 80s I actually had a personalised number plate on my car, which was a little silly. It was PAT 944R, and I get people saying, "Oh, Pat, the R's in the wrong place, you prat."
How many times did it get keyed?
A couple, yeah. But nowadays everybody's nice, and I think times have changed, and I'm really grateful for the fact that I'm still able to do this and be kind of liked by most people, which is nice.
So, a radio industry question then. What do you think about the radio landscape now and where Smooth fits into it?
I think the current radio landscape is that there's too many radio stations, and Smooth fits into it at the top of the pile for me. It's a great place for me to work because more or less everybody can hear it wherever you go. A lot of people do hear it, and people like it and respect it as an adult radio station, and I'm now an adult, so for me, I'm now an adult. I was an adult when I was a kid. Hey. But, I'm just loving being here, and it's a great place. People come up to me, I'm walking my dogs and stuff, and say, I listen to Smooth now, I really like that, or I heard you on Smooth. I've been at places in the past few years where people didn't know I was on, and I didn't know I was on.
So you said earlier on, people liked the act. They hired you for the act you used to do. At Smooth, you're not doing that act. You're becoming a broadcaster, as you said, not a presenter. Have you had to really work at that? Have you changed deliberately how you relate to the listener?
I think probably 100%. Even when I left Capital and went to Heart for like 10 years, I remember them saying to me there, my boss said to me, listen, if you want to stay here, it's good what you do, but you need to do it this way, and you can't be a DJ anymore. You've got to be a presenter. The DJ is dead on the radio. And I said, oh dear. So that's unfortunate. I don't even remember the funeral, but it was a good wake-up call for me and taught me how to converse, as I say, with people as opposed to at them.
Final radio industry question then. There's a huge change, isn't there, from your time at Capital to now Capital being a national brand, Heart at your time there to Heart being a national brand, Smooth a national brand. Is this good for radio?
I think it's good for the people who are on those stations, yeah, especially if they're doing not one of the local shows but one of the network shows. It's very good for them, but I don't know if it's so good for everybody who used to try and get a local show perhaps and find it's harder now to get a gig because there's so many networked shows. But it's okay. I'm happy. I love it. For me, it's great. I couldn't ask for more.
You're in a good place in life.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
Final question. Do you have a criminal record?
Pat and Mick haven't stopped dancing yet.
No, so just that wasn't really the final question. The final question is: we are still playing on Smooth, the Gonzales, and we're still playing. We're not playing Let's All Chant, but we are playing the Odyssey.
Okay.
When you hear these songs come round in your show,
I say,
what are you thinking?
I say, Mark, why are they playing these versions? So Steve Collins, for heaven's sake, get yourself together. You know, put us in some auditorium testing. You'll see Pat and Mick will come up very well, and of course, it is all for charity, mate.
I think you've already been tested. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.
Let's all chant.